The Tribal Chief is bringing you another wrestling review, Monday Night Raw. So once again, I can say, what's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome back to Little Big Man Gaming, bringing you another review. As I already said, for Monday Night Raw. Now the Tribal Chief is going to give you his thoughts on this episode. So they start off with Bobby Lashley, and it was one of those usual promos where everybody, since this was a elimination chamber match, I called it a Bobby promo, but it was more of an elimination chamber promo where basically Bobby comes out and talks about how he got to enter the elimination chamber. He knows the structure. He knows how difficult it is to win the elimination chamber match, and that his chances of winning are pretty slim to none. I think what MVP said, it was like a 16% chance. But then he said when you factor in the fact that he's an almighty Bobby Lashley, he said that it's 100% chance of a guarantee that Bobby Lashley will win the Elimination Chamber. This will bring out basically everybody from Matt Riddle. I think who was the first person to come out? Seth Rollins. This will bring out Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, Matt Riddle, AJ Styles, and eventually Brock Lesnar. But this will bring out they was the first to come. They was the first people. I think Brock Lesnar was the last. But yeah, they all would come out and run their usual promo. Like Seth Rollins cut a good one saying how he was doing a good news, bad news type promo where he was good news, Bobby, you look good. Bad news is not as good as me. And then he would say good news that you're right that most of the men in the elimination chamber can't beat you. Bad news is that he know one person who can, and that's me, Seth freaking Rollins. But yeah, he cut. That's his style of promo, and because he's a visionary. I think MVP mocked his visionary thing, and then like I said, this will bring out AJ Styles and Austin Theory, and they all would jab at each other. Austin Theory talking about how he got to impress Vince McMahon by winning the Elimination Chamber. Matt Riddle talked about how it would be cool to be a double champion, how it would be cool for him to win the tag team titles and be WWE champion. And then AJ Styles also said to make his match later on, saying how he has a United States Championship match and he wants to win United States Championship, then go to the Elimination Chamber, win the WWE Championship, and main event WrestleMania as both United States and WWE champion. This will bring out then Brock Lesnar, who will do his whole entrance gimmick, circling the ring, and he will be the only person who didn't grab a mic and talk. He just got in the ring, took off his cowboy hat and jacket, and he used Austin Theory as a coat rack. He'll put his coat around Austin Theory and put his hat on Austin Theory. And Austin Theory, before they focus on Brock Lesnar, you saw Austin Theory took a selfie. I'm like, oh, you were an idiot. But yeah, I think Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar were getting each other's face, but Austin Theory tried to attack Brock Lesnar from behind, but he would end up getting taken to Suplex City for his troubles, and that's how they ended the promo. They basically ended the promo with Brock Lesnar beating the hell out of Austin Theory and taking a selfie with Austin Theory. The first match would be the Street Profits versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode with Tommaso Ciampa at ringside. I think because Dolph Ziggler is feuding with Braun Breaker from NXT, and I guess Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa is somewhat like a tag team. So he came to Tommaso came to Raw which is the first time in a long time that an NXT person showed up on Raw. Not instead of being called up to the main show, this was the first that somebody showed up on here. The match itself was a good match between Dolph Ziggler and the Street Profits. This is one of those rare times where I said the interference was just because of how Dolph Ziggler did his, on NXT. This was okay. This was okay for there to be an interference, and the match was It wasn't a great way to start the show, but it was a good way to start the show. The finish came when Dolph Ziggler got knocked to the outside, and he started jaw jacking with Tommaso Ciampa, and he faked Ciampa out like he was going to super kick him, and Dolph Ziggler was like, I got you, and Tommaso yeah, okay, you got me, but then he'll grab a cup or pop of water, whatever it was, and he'll throw it in Dolph Ziggler's face. This would distract Robert Roode, who would turn around and get their signature. I forgot what the Street Profits signature is. What is they finisher? They do a spine buster and a fall splash. But yeah, the Street Profits would get the win here. But then he would jaw jack some more with Tommaso Ciampa afterwards. And this time he really did super kick Tommaso. And Tommaso tried to get at him, but he ran in the ring. Or Tommaso threw him in the ring, and then the Street Profits was basically trying to do their finisher on Dolph, but Dolph would, get out of it and get out the ring. We did have a couple of backstage promos. I think they did the whole Alexa Bliss Lily thing, which we would get to later on, because the later on part is the part that's really important. I can't remember I forgot to write it down, so I can't remember what other backstage promos there was. They had the Broga party. It was the start of the Broga party. I forgot that in that little where everybody came out the ring to confront Bobby Lashley about the Elimination Chamber. I forgot Riddle did a nice little comedy sketch about that too. But yeah, AJ Styles, the next match would be AJ Styles versus Damian Priest for the United States Championship. This match, I have a problem with, but it's not that, it wasn't that, it's a negative, but only because of the fact that, not because they did something wrong. It's a negative to me that this match wasn't longer. Because this match actually was kind of good. And if it would have I believe if they would have had the proper length, it could have been one of the best matches of the night, but it just felt too short. Right when it was getting good, that's when the end of the match happened. But otherwise, you had a great match between the two. Damian Priest won here to retain the United States Championship, and at the end, they shook each other's hand to show some respect. We would get the third match, which was by far, I think it was the worst match of the night, because it was basically Omos versus Cedric and Shelton Benjamin. They still, I guess they call themselves the Hurt Business, even though they're not with Bobby Lashley. Which I don't understand the ordeal about that. Why are they still calling themselves the Hurt Business if they're not with Bobby Lashley? I thought the whole point was them for to be connected to Bobby Lashley, but whatever. Yeah, so this was the reason why I said this was the worst, because we keep getting the same squash matches. We've been getting the same, okay, we get it, he's a monster heel. Now it's time to see him in a match where even if he still wins, he's starting to get a little bit of pressure on him now. Now he's starting to, somebody's starting to figure him out, and somebody started taking him to his limits a little bit. Now we need to transition over to that style for Omos. Or you need to put him on the path to a championship if you're gonna keep him going with this undefeated thing. But yeah, this was by far the worst. It was a short match, and you knew Omos was gonna win because Shelton Benjamin and Cedric did not know what to do. They had some offense, but in the end, he hit the choke slam, I think, on either Shelton Benjamin or Cedric, and got the win. We would go over, I think that was it for that, and then we would go over to the Becky Lynch and Lita contract signing, where Becky basically she came out looking like a disheveled, like looked like she just looked like she just was like on a bender, like she like she wasn't her usual Becky Lynch self. And she revealed the reason why she looks like that, hair undone, hair not done, look like she just rolled out of bed, is because she haven't been getting. She said she haven't really been sleeping, the past week. And she basically because she begged Lita not to take this match, that she doesn't want this match. She said that only us sick fans want to see them. They don't have nothing. We shouldn't play their game. We only want to see them destroy each other and ruin each other's lives. Because she said, basically she said loses sleep because Lita's her idol. She doesn't want she doesn't want to face Lita and have Lita try to take something from her, or her try to beat Lita. She doesn't want that. She said Lita had a great career, a great legacy. She has nothing to prove. Why would you want to even do this? You have nothing to prove. She said, I already admitted to you that without Lita, there's no Becky Lynch. She said, I already said that. She implored her. She said, She asked her just rip up this contract and walk away, and we cool. No harm, no foul. All things everything's on the bridge of the water. We cool. We could just walk away and just continue. You could continue to be the idol. You continue to be my favorite person. But Lita said, Lita left it up to the crowd. She's like, should I walk away, or should I, should I beat Becky Lynch at Elimination Chamber and take the Raw Women's Championship from her? Because the crowd basically cheered for her to face Becky Lynch and booed for her not to. And she explained to Becky that I don't just got one good match left in me. She said, I got a one good run left in me. So she said a championship run. So she basically telling Becky, I'm not here for just one good match. She's feeling inside herself that she got it one more time to become women's champion. And she signed the contract, and Becky would go even deeper on hands, telling her that you don't know what you're forcing me to do, because you don't know what I would do to keep the championship around my waist, and what I would do to you to do that. And she said, I studied your footage, I studied you, and I know what your weakness is. And she referenced Lita's neck injury that plagued her through most of her career. That one of her weakness is her neck, like Edge. She also has a neck injury. Not that it's current, but her neck is basically her weakest spot, because she always comes back to her neck being injured if something happens. But that Becky signs the contract, and then I think Lita said something else to her. I forgot what it was, but Becky got mad and picked up the contract and threw it down on the ground, was at her. And then put her glasses back on and walked away looking all disheveled. I like that. I like that when Becky came out, though. We'll mention this, that when she came out, she was all disheveled. She wasn't all smiles and taunting and being all cocky. She was all sad. She even took off her belt sad and was just like, she didn't even care. We would get the next match, which would be a gauntlet match. So this was like a gauntlet match. If you guys know this, it's a series of matches. So basically, this gauntlet match was to determine which woman would enter the Elimination Chamber match last. Now, which was weird. This is weird. The only thing I say was weird because we did get a resolution to my earlier, I probably said it in my last video about the weirdness of that it was just one random person, and I actually said, was this for this person, and then it was revealed. It was revealed not even after this match, it was after the match that was after this, but Yeah, the Gauntlet match started off with Rhea versus Nikki ASH, where she quickly squashed. She not I won't say quickly, but she beat her within like 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe less, maybe not even 10, but it was definitely 5 or more. And she would beat Nikki, and then she would have to go up against Liv Morgan, which this was a little bit longer, but she still ended up picking up the victory. Wish they would have gave Liv a little bit more, action, but she did hold her own. They did make her look good somewhat, but it was still that jobber undertone, and Liv at this part deserved not to look like at all a jobber, but they still did her a little bit right, and they did her way better than Nikki got. Nikki didn't look like she had a chance at all, and Liv actually did. That's what I mean. Like, the contrast between Nikki and Liv was that Nikki didn't look like she had a chance at all to beat Rhea. Liv looked like she had somewhat a chance to beat Rhea. Like, that was what I mean by booking wise. Like, they made her look good by making her look like she had somewhat a chance to beat her. But Rhea would end up beating Liv Morgan, and she would go on. Who would she win? Doudrop. So Doudrop was next, and this time the difference between Doudrop and Liv was that Doudrop was booked better than Liv, because Doudrop was booked as one of the two people who actually almost beat Rhea, and I think it was only Bianca and Doudrop left. So they had this was like maybe the best parts of the match. The whole gauntlet thing was when Rhea went up against Doudrop, and because Doudrop, like I said, they was powerhouses. They couldn't get really their usual powerhouse moves off because they both was powerhouses. But Rhea would win by hitting the Riptide on Doudrop for the victory. And this was the better part of the gauntlet matches, because Rhea actually looked like she could have lost it. She could have lost right at this point. But then we would get the final two, which is Rhea versus Bianca Bellaire. And this was Bianca Bellaire was on the same level booker wise as Doudrop, where it could have been Doudrop or Bianca who could have beat Rhea. But this was another great bout. This was another good part of this match. Rhea and Bianca went back and forth, even though it looked like they made you think that Bianca was just gonna come in and quickly beat Rhea. She really didn't. They actually had a good lengthy battle, but in the end, Rhea will fall to Bianca Bellaire, and Bianca Bellaire will win the gauntlet match to enter the Elimination Chamber last. And from the way the rumors are setting up, it looks like Bianca Belair might win the Elimination Chamber and go into WrestleMania to challenge Becky Lynch. As per the rumor, that's what I hear. The next match we would get was Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus the Alpha Academy with the Miz and Maurice, for which I still have no understanding why Maurice is with the Miz right now. They not feuding with Edge and them, so why would I don't understand. But this was an okay match. The bigger picture here in this match was that the Miz and they were talking about cheating, how the Mysterios cheat, and how basically both Alpha Academy was talking about and the Miz was talking about it, and they both was hypocrites. This match was just about people basically revealing that what you already know, that the heels are hypocrites. And the match was good up until the Miz interfering in the match, causing a distraction. I think allowing I think he did something. I think he did something to Rey, and Dominic took the pin here. But the Alpha Academy win using underhanded tactics. Speaking of, that's what I meant. Thanks to myself for remembering. The underhanded tactic was Chad Gable rolled up Dominic Mysterio and held on to his tights to get the pin. But that's the hypocrite part. They both the Miz and Chad, was talking about how the Mysterio cheated, but then they cheated to win. This next segment was to be the resolution to the women's elimination chamber match, which was the final part to the Alexa Bliss, role to come back to Raw promo things, which I'm glad they finally come to the end because it was the most boring things ever. They wasn't really that entertaining because they really didn't have because you didn't have a set goal to where she was trying to get to. But other than that, she was coming back to Raw. But then she never came back to Raw. And she still hasn't because the point of me mentioning this is that at the end of this promo, I'm not going to get into everything they talked about, Lily and, all that type of stuff. But the major thing was that Alexa Bliss revealed that she was going to be the final entrant in the Elimination Chamber match for Monday Night Raw. But I didn't like the way they did it. Because instead of having Alexa Bliss come out to the ring, reveal that she was at Raw and come out to the ring, or say it looking at the camera and looking at the camera and the doctor's office, it was just like a voiceover over the preview of the chamber match, and she was just like, hey, isn't there a final spot left for the Elimination Chamber? She said, you know what, I guess I'll take it, or something like that. And then it was basically revealed that the final entrant was going to be who I thought it was going to be, Alexa Bliss. So that was your final entrant into the Elimination Chamber for the women, was Alexa Bliss. And I was just like, great. So now you get done with these whole road to the back to Raw thing. The next match, or the final match of the night, was Randy Orton versus Seth freaking Rollins. Now, this match was a good match in itself. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And they gave Randy Orton and Seth Rollins an actual marginal time. The final length of the show was game it to them. And that was a good chunk, too. And so this match went on good. It was good. I ain't going to lie, it was good. Now, having said that, did I like how they, I hate when they give us a good match. And I understand that his current beef is with the Alpha Academy. I do get that. But the fact that they had to interfere, I just didn't like. The match was good. I just needed them to interfere, or to beat up Randy Orton after the match. The match, I needed them to actually have a conclusive win without interference, and then they could fight each other. But the Alpha Academy will stick their nose in Randy Orton's business. Basically, they was coming out to beat up Randy Orton, but then Riddle came out and jumped and started beating up Chad Gable. And then Otis would turn around and beat up on Riddle, and then Randy Orton would get out the ring to help him, but get back in. But once helping Riddle, he tried to get back in the ring, only to get curb stomped by Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins would get the victory. Like I said, this was a great match. Just didn't like the fact that they did an interference angle with it. But that's all I got. I would give this episode of Monday Night Raw, I'll give it 8 big ups out of 10 because it wasn't a bad Raw. It wasn't bad. In my opinion, it wasn't bad. It just they had just some questionable decision making. Like the whole where are we going with Omos thing. The whole Omos thing. Everything else was kind of cool. I took exception with the Omos thing. And I didn't really care for the Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio versus the Alpha Academy match. I care for it a little bit, but not as much as I would like. The Gauntlet match was fine. The Alexa Bliss promo was probably the only other thing that was wrong with this episode. But I gave it a pass because they finally ended it. But it was still the most questionable thing to do. Why would you not have her there to announce it? So that or why not do it where Bianca Bellaire won the Gauntlet match, Alexa Bliss would come out but not to be, either to fake her out and be like, well, I've just been informed that this gauntlet match is now has one more participant, and it was Alexa Bliss. Remembering that she's also in the gauntlet match, and that and now Bianca got to beat her too, and she could have beat her. Or you just had Alexa Bliss come out and announce that she too would be in an Elimination Chamber match. But having her do a voiceover didn't work for me. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw and in this video in general. And if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, then hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my wrestling review videos. And if you enjoyed this video so much and want to support the channel, guys, you know what to do. You got to hit that like button, that subscribe, that share, and hit that notification button. Turn that all the way on so you get notified when I drop videos like these. And do all those great things because that supports the channel. It lets me know you want to see more content like this. You want to see more gameplay, more everything. That's how you let me know. And hit any one of these videos with more of my amazing content. Yeah, now that I got this out the way, I got some gameplay coming up, and maybe some more reviews. Peace.